Laws of Attraction, Chapter 8, Commingling. You and the other lawyers have gathered in the cafeteria at the crack of dawn. The scent of coffee isn't quite enough to push the fog of sleep out of your head.
Man, this really brings back the old days. Nothing like heading out on a weekend adventure with some of our buds.
Buds, really? After what you pulled in the meeting with Roswell yesterday.
Hey man, I already said I was just playing the game.
Honestly, we should have expected it. We're competing for one of the jobs, the more important jobs in the profession, and lawyers aren't exactly known for playing clean. I hear you, but personally, I think we should hold ourselves to a higher standard than that. Okay, but seriously, can we focus on the important things like coffee? All of you make your way to the life-giving coffee machine and pour steaming mugs. Once the rain fog is lifted some, Aislinn glances at her phone. I still don't understand why we're leaving this early. The conference is in Boston and programming doesn't start until tomorrow. Astute as always, Aislinn. Startled, you quickly turn to see Sadie and Gabe standing in the doorway. The conference begins tomorrow, but considering how hard you've been working, Sadie and I agreed you deserve a bit of a break, which is why we've organized a team-building day in rural Massachusetts prior to the conference. And our performance at this team-building day counts towards our scores in the competition. No, believe it or not, we want you to bond. I think if you all of people would know how important relationships are in business. Really? Well, you might want to tell that bow over here. Yes, of course. I hope you don't think I was just kidding around. I assure you. You making a joke, Marty? Now that is funny. In a meta sort of way, at least. Enough chatting, then. The cars are waiting outside. I expect you all to enjoy the opportunity we've given you. As you head to the elevators, Aislinn whispers to you. Do you really think they won't be scoring us? Sadie always says everything we do is to be assessed. I think I don't care as long as I get to spend more time with you. A night in the woods on our own, can't think of a better place to finally get to know each other. She flashes you a sly smile. Have I mentioned how much I love camping? Before long, you're all packed in a series of town cars with the sun just starting to crest in the sky. You head out of Manhattan on your way to woods in Massachusetts, where it lives in the woods. Before long, you arrive at the team building site.
Oh hell yes, it's like an adult playground.
Except much, much higher off the ground. If I'm already getting vertigo now, that means it will clear up by the time we start, right? If you ask me. I'll never say no to rope play. I see what you did there. Dear Lord, can we at least be a little professional? We are literally in the woods with ropes and swings and ladders, and you want to be adult. Listen, this is children. We're just bigger. Are you saying you're more of a harness man, Martin? Very funny. There would be safety harnesses of some sort, right? Yep, harness man. I assure you the equipment's top of the line. If you're nervous, just remember, getting over that feeling is half of trial law. Besides, if anything goes wrong, you have an entire legal team ready to snag you a never-work-again level settlement. That's not reassuring, as you think. We booked cabins nearby for the night. Gabe, come with me to sort the luggage. The drivers are hopeless on their own. Why are you gonna go through my luggage? You all get started. We'll be back in a few minutes to see how you're doing. Sadie and Gabe head off towards the main lodge as a friendly-looking employee approaches the rest of the group. Welcome to the Green Woods Lodge Adventure Course. I'm here to help, so if you have any questions, ask away. I'm guessing do we have to isn't one you can answer? It looks intimidating now, but trust me, you'll be pros in no time. Speaking of, we're starting with a zipline. Gotta get that blood pumping, right? Do we, though? She turns to Aislinn and frowns, eyes going a bit distant. I wonder, should I try bangs? Please, what? Please tell me that means we should just skip this horror show altogether? Oh, sorry, got a little distracted. Anyway, you're gonna pass on the zipline if that's your choice. You can meet us at the other platforms. She points across the field towards a pair of platforms, one large and one smaller. But your boss did specifically say you should try to face your fears today. My fear is not going down a zipline. It's you being distracted at your job and me falling to my death. Oh, I guess. Oh god. I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, because that's the only option.
Every single fiber of my being is screaming no, but the smart move is to say yes, so make it be over soon, please. A zipline, huh? Oh, hop on or you're a coward. Hell, Cave did say the day is about overcoming our fears. I'm overcoming my fear of being labeled a coward. See you at the finish line, which I'm gonna reach sans heart attack. Sans heart what? Gigi starts walking across the field below as the employee carefully affixes your harness to the line. Ready? Born ready. Please don't think about your bangs before we do this. You leap off the platform and let out a scream of joy as you hurtle just barely above the trees, the wind rushing past your ears as you stretch your arms out like wings. Woohoo! You slow as you near the ground, running a few feet along it before you come to a stop. That was incredible. Behind you, you hear a thud. When you turn, Martin's standing and gingerly dusting himself off. No big deal, never liked that knee anyway. Before long, you've all made it to the clearing where 2 raised platforms await. Why is that platform so much smaller? That's part of the fun. One at a time, you'll use the rope swing from the larger platform to the smaller. You win if you can find a way to fit all of you on the platform at once. What do we win? Coffee? Because I'm gonna need it. You look at the 5 of you, and then the platform may be 2 feet in diameter. Let's think this through. Bound Martin, you're about the same height. You go first. Set up a base. Gigi, Aislinn can come over and hang off you two, and then I'll swing in and you all grab me for dear life. Just try not to get forest all over my sweater, please. It's cashmere. Then take said sweater off, pretty boy. Martin swings over to the platform with no difficulty. Bao follows and they link arms.
Guys, there's not a lot of room here.
Yep, and I'm aiming right for your junk when I swing over. I guess we'll try to make ourselves as small as possible. Aislinn follows, and Bao and Martin catch her and pull her in. She moves around to the outside, leaning back and gripping onto Bao's shoulders. I think somebody's deodorant might have stopped working.
Sorry, Tanaka. This musk just can't be contained.
Oh, I'm sick now. A few seconds later, Gigi comes in and lands off balance. Whoa. Gotcha. Martin grabs her by the shoulder and manages to pull her in. Soon she's leaning back with his shoulders as a counterweight, feet barely perched on the edge. Just you, Quinn. Just take it easy and I think we can catch you. Can I slam into his junk if I swing fast? You swing as gently as possible, not even reaching the platform. But at the top of your swing, Bao reaches you and reaches out and grabs you, pulling you in slowly. Easy, easy. Manage to get both feet onto a tiny sliver of free platform. Smashed together with all your colleagues, you teeter on the brink of collapse. Okay, now move your foot a little to the right, Quinn.
That's my toe.
Oh, loop Quinn to the Dom circle. Loop him in.
Right, okay. Lean forward on 3, Quinn. 1, 2, 3.
You throw your weight forward, flailing a bit, but instead of swinging back, their arms catch you. I think maybe we did this? You did indeed! Congratulations! You all gleefully separate, hopping down from the platform one by one. Bao cups both hands around his mouth to whoop.
McGraw burn!
God, you are such a frat boy. Bao breaks out into an easy laugh, and before long, you've all joined in.
We should have said this was being scored. Martin would have held us all himself.
Martin would break a land speed record if he got points for it. This is a competition, people. Don't understand why the rest of you don't care about racking up bonus points. Because you'd probably smother us in our sleep if we figure out a way to do it that you hadn't. Excuse me, I'd never resort to violence. I'd just shave off your eyebrows and hope Sadie noticed. Alright, team. Rue's ready to climb to the top of the tallest tree. Don't worry, we've got pegs most of the way up. Wow, we're doing rope play, harnesses, and pegging today. Okay. It's gonna be a fun day in the forest. Worn out from all the exercise, you all will circle around the campfire as the sun dies down. Gabe and Sadie are there too, both clearly relaxed. That's because they didn't have to do any of this shit. Now for the most important part of this retreat. He opens up a bag and reveals all the ingredients needed for s'mores. I still have never had s'mores. Sadness. Toast me one bow. You know how I like them.
2 burnt to a crisp, coming right up.
You all pounce on the sweets, fixing marshmallows to skewers.
Okay, be honest. How many of you have actually been camping before? I don't know if you count sleeping in cabins at high-end wilderness retreats as camping.
Spoken like a woman who knows her way around the woods.
Let's just say the fire going out is not a concern, as long as I'm around.
Still seems pretty rustic to me, but then I subscribe to my grandfather's belief. Roughing is trying to cut steak with a dull knife. If you ask me, give me true camping, no amenities. Basic supplies, wide open spaces, and whoever else has managed to drag along with you, that's real camping. Sometimes I forget you grew up in the middle of nowhere. Of course you camp the old-fashioned way. You mean the right way? I won't argue that.
I've done my share of both, and I'll take comfy cabins any day.
Really? I wouldn't take you for a camper.
It's not by choice. My childhood was spent trying to talk my way out of going on hikes and talk my way into going to Disneyland. A lawyer born and bred, I see. If only I had one more of those cases.
You all chuckle. The competition and all of its associated stress feels like it's melting as fast as the chocolate on your s'mores.
Bo was just the opposite. For a few years there, you couldn't pay to keep him inside. Are you talking about my Davy Crockett face?
Wait, are you serious? Please tell me you had that.
It was sweet, really. He took some seeds from the apples and swore he'd sleep beside them until they grew. It took a lot of convincing to get him to understand trees don't grow in a few days. So, this was when he was what? A junior in high school? Don't be ridiculous, G. I was a sophomore.
Solid recovery. 8 out of 10.
And he's on the board.
Oh, we're going to be graded on our quips now. Y'all shoot him a look. It was a joke. It's a joke. I'm the only one who isn't allowed to have fun.
It is in character.
I'll have you know I can be very fun.
The grumpy Gus we all know and love.
Martin stares at the fire for a moment, and the smile cracks his facade. I swear to God, if he tells us a ghost story, I'm puking. One time I had to run from the cops when they caught me trying to camp in Central Park. Martin, I will give you as much imaginary points as you want if you tell that story. Seems like an unfair advantage, if you ask me. It's not my fault you didn't read the Campfire story clause in the employee contract. My dad was not an outdoorsman. I never even made s'mores as a kid, unless you count over a gas range, so naturally I became obsessed with the idea of living off the land. But there's not much, whole lot of outdoors in New York City, which my dad tried his best to explain to the policewoman who escorted me home. Tragically, the officer didn't find my attempt to escape up a tree or to defend it against the intruders via acorn bombs amusing. Okay, anyone top that camping story? Maybe one of you fought off a bear or something? There's a small silence as others wait for someone to speak up. Looks like you win, Martin. My favorite 5 words. My brain is breaking a bit trying to imagine Martin as a renegade feral child. Some of us grow up eventually, Gigi. Oh no, not an attack on how I like to party. A thing I openly advertise. Speaking of parties, I'm reminded of the last retreat here. You all know Farnham, right? Yes. He's in family law. Now imagine him on top of that cabin. Tie around his forehead, shirtless, screaming Madonna lyrics at the top of his lungs. Those poor bears and wildlife that had to listen. Everyone laughs as Sadie continues her story. The atmosphere is friendly. Still, you glance around the circle of firelit faces, and you notice Gabe and Aislinn both seem a little distracted. Might be a good chance to catch up with one of them. By the way, I'm actually surprised Pixelberry didn't charge us diamonds for camping out here, bringing like an entire... As inconspicuously as possible, you slide up next to Aislinn, who is staring longingly at the cabin. Had your fill of the great outdoors? I actually really like being outside, but I think the bugs have locked on to me. Sounds like they like you almost as much as I do. Her lips curl into a devilish grin, and she leans a bit closer. So you're saying your interest in me just barely clears the level of mosquitoes? I'm saying we both want to be around you, and we both think you taste wonderful. How would you know we haven't done anything personal with her ever? Do you, want me to go in? Or go on? I do, but I might beg for a change of location first. I was thinking of turning in early, but... She trails off, and in the light of the fire, you see her eyes dark up to yours before quickly lowering again. Some company might be nice. Could I convince you to join me for a nightcap? Join her in her cabin to get to know her more intimately and maybe turn up the heat in your relationship. Oh, I'm just noticing now, because we only ever get to see the top half, how kind of nice her dress is. Nice attire. 8 out of 10. A smile blooms on her face. Quietly, the two of you excuse yourselves from the group. You turn on the gas fireplace while Aislinn, wow, brain fart. Aislinn mixes drinks. You both sit on the couch, large enough to be cozy, but small enough your knees are just barely touching. We traded one fireplace for another, huh? Excuse me? We definitely upgraded our fire situation. Not only am I not getting eaten alive, but I have this very well-earned cocktail. S'mores weren't cutting it for you? No, it was nice, and I really enjoyed today, actually, but I'm glad we're alone. I'm peopled out. Except for you, obviously. In that case, I'm glad I'm the exception. It feels different being with just you. With the others, it's hard to forget, but even for a second, that I'm in a competition. She gazes at the flames for a moment, clearly contemplating something. I know I'm supposed to want to win this thing more than anything else, and I do want to win. I want to keep moving forward in my career. I'm good at the game, and I know I am. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But having my guard up all the time is exhausting. I hate feeling like I can't trust the people around me. Aislinn. You can trust me. I would never stab you in the back, just to go ahead. Others' backs? Sure. We're lawyers. But yours? Never. Actually, other people's backs, no. Like Martin, or not Martin, but Bao. And then Martin also was very rude to me at the very beginning of this book. She smiles softly at the gratitude shining in her eyes. I know you wouldn't. That's why I'm so glad you're part of this thing. She smiles brightly at you, eyes twinkling. The point is, I'm really glad you're here. Likewise, though today was surprisingly fun. Definitely. Honestly, it brought me back. Growing up, I did this stuff all the time. Minus the team building aspect, obviously. Really? I kinda thought you were joking about the camping thing before. Don't I strike you as outdoorsy, Quinn? Honestly, I pictured you as someone who spent a lot of her childhood curled up with a book. Oof, you are not a people person, Quinn. I did that too, trust me. But in Seattle, hiking is a religion, and my parents were definitely believers. Besides, a cliffside overlooking the miles of forest, or sleeping bag with a flashlight and a million stars overhead, are both pretty good spots to get some reading done. When you put it that way, it makes me wish we had a sleeping bag to share. Not for sleeping, in case that part wasn't clear. Believe it or not, Quinn, you're not the most subtle person I've ever met. Thank you, I take that as a compliment. Yeah, but you love that about me. Let's just say it's one of the many qualities in you that I find appealing. Said no one ever about me. Oh, what else about me appeals to you? Her eyelids lower with desire. She scoots a little closer on the couch. Well, there's your wit, of course. Keep going. And your legal brain. Really hoping you're not finished yet. Because technically they're both one and the same, wit and legal brain.
And then there's the fact that when I'm with you, well, the only thing I can think about is kissing you.
Oh, that's nice. A slow smile spreads across her face as she reaches up to brush her thumb over your lips. Lean forward and pressing your lips to hers in a gentle kiss. She kisses you back, first softly, then more eagerly, pressing her body up against yours. You thread your fingers through her thick hair. She deepens the kiss. The kisses grow more fierce, almost hungry, as your hands roam over each other's bodies. Eventually she breaks away, grinning.
You have no idea how long I've been thinking about that.
I think I might have some idea. Smiling, she leans in to nuzzle her nose against your neck and stretches up to nibble gently on your ear. A shiver runs through your entire body at her touch. Speaking of kissing, that's not all I've been thinking about.
On the same page again.
In one swift motion, she straddles you, taking your mouth in hers. You slide a hand over the soft curve of her breast, squeezing ever so gently, and she moans with pleasure. Is that okay?
Better than okay, Gwen. It's so good.
Presses down against you, hips grinding slowly against your body as she kisses you again and again. Aislinn. You're just about to pull her jacket off when you hear a creak on the porch outside.
Wait, then which cabin is mine?
Laughing, Aislinn pulls back.
That might be our cue to stop. You know, before all our coworkers and both our bosses walk in on us.
Would that be so bad? You pick the worst times to be right, you know that? You cradle her head in your hands and give her a final deep kiss before she climbs off of you. Before long, the light outside, and the cabin window darkens. When you glance out through the window, you see Gigi and Val dousing the flames of the fire. I bet you they doused it with fire, didn't they? I'm guessing that means it's bedtime. We've, gotta be on our game for the conference after all.
Good point. But actually, I'm not too worried about that. Not anymore, at least.
Oh, why's that?
Because you're here, Gwen. And I know you're in my corner.
You can always count on that, Aislinn. Give her one last kiss goodnight and then head to your own cabin to get some rest. The next morning, the cabins are filled with incessant beeping, trilling of alarms simultaneously going off, and soon you're all gathered around a cozy table in the main lodge for breakfast. You all look spectacularly out of place in these surroundings. Glad to see you're taking the conference seriously. Is that even a question? It's the most important event of the entire legal calendar. Looks like Martin's already washed off all that tedious bonding.
I for one, still feel closer to all of you, even though the competition's starting back up. Save the kumbaya for the campfire, Tanaka. You're with me, right, Gwen?
Honestly, I think we're stronger together. I get that this is a competition, and the stakes are high, but that doesn't mean we're each other's enemies.
Exactly. We can all work our hardest and still like each other.
I never said I didn't like you. You actually did. But this is a last person standing situation. Pretending otherwise is just a waste of time. Because then Sadie strides into the room, heels clicking sharply against the wooden floor. I hope this reinvigorated all of you. The conference and the image we present at it is extremely important to the firm. You're all representatives of McGraw-Byrne. Do not make me regret that fact. Translation, enjoy yourselves today. Just not too much. You all pile into the town cars and head into Boston for the conference. Is there no other partners at this firm? Is it seriously just Gabe and Sadie? Because, wow, that is the smallest firm I've ever known. You spend the day in a blur of legal presentations from the country's top attorneys.
But the statute's archaic wording allows for more creative interpretations of what constitutes illegal bird breeding.
Why would we want that creativity? That's why the process of obfuscating is anti-ethical to the very ideology we have, each of us, sought to pursue.
Yes, lying under oath is bad. We get it.
Pretty much. In the end, the Court of Appeals found the defendant could stand trial, despite the irregularities around his legal status. Not that this case isn't interesting, but how exactly is it relevant to anything?
Who cares? The fact that they tried a cow for murder is just cool.
They tried a cow for murder. Mother of God. But eventually, the presentations end, and you and the other associates meet up in the lobby for the conference center. Thank God it's over. Now the real conferences can begin. What do you mean?
The cocktail party at the AALP conference is probably the best place to network on this side of the country.
And I'm going to be making more and better connections than all of you. Who cares, Martin? Who seriously cares?
You know they have to actually like you. Right, Martin? Honestly, it's mostly an excuse to drink expensive alcohol, catch up with old friends from other firms.
Please play it that way. It just leaves me with more room to impress Sadie and Gabe. On that note, I need to go prep my talking points. He turns on his heel, leaving the rest of you in anxious silence. You hurry up to your room to prepare, and before outfit. I need to make a good impression. My career could depend on him. The retreat might have been fun in games, but tonight the competition is on again, and I want home. They always need to give us a bunch of excuses for why we're about to purchase an outfit, don't they? This would definitely be a chance to impress Sadie and Gabe. And no, I'm taking this thing seriously. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh yes, this looks very impressive. Quickly, grab it before we go. You turn around slowly in the mirror, grinning as you take yourself in. Certainly dressed for success, and walking into that room with confidence is going to gain me big points from the start. You keep telling yourself that, buddy. You put a few finishing touches on your look, take a deep breath, and head downstairs to the main event. When you arrive in the ballroom, the party is in full swing. Oh my god, Bow is hanging from the ceiling. Pardon me, I don't think we've met. What firm are you a partner at? I'm at McGraw-Byrne, but I'm not a partner yet. Oh, my mistake. Just look, well, like someone at the top of the game. So don't you. I like the black. Are you working for Lucifer? You're not entirely wrong, though. Oh, not entirely right, either. As the lawyer excuses himself, Martin approaches. Cocksure! Grin in full effect. I will admit you do clean up well. Oh, I needed your approval. I know how much that hurt, Martin, so thank you. How's the networking going? I just got here. Sounds like I'm already doing more to impress Sadie than us. And speaking of, Martin waves over an older man. Judge Coleman, great to see you again. This is my colleague Quinn. Judge Coleman represents the Southern District of New York. He shakes her hand and then gives Martin a curious look. And you are? You don't remember me? Forgive me, I've met so many attorneys in the courtroom, it's hard to remember any specific face. I clerked for you for 2 years. I'm Martin Vandervelde. It was one of the most highest points of my career. Ah, that's Scout. I think I do remember you after all. Just then, Aislinn moves up next to you.
Smart to get to know Judge Coleman. He decides a lot of cases we try, and Sadie's always trying to get on his good side.
We're here at a network, making the right impression matter. Judge Coleman, I'm sure you, remember Martin's work ethic. The scowl is his game face, and trust me, it is always on.
What Quinn means is... Oh, wait, thank you. I do try to work hard.
Yes, I do remember. Your briefs were always impeccable. Seems like you're moving up in the world. Absolutely. We're already being considered for partnership at McGraw-Byrne, where we work together. I expect no less from one of my clerks. You two enjoy the evening, and I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you in the future. Judge Coleman walks away with a warm smile for both of you. Martin turns to you, clearly stunned.
I thought you were going to throw me under the bus just now.
You heard Sadie. We're all here to make McGraw-Byrne look good, and you or I are on the same team, Martin. Like it or not. I suppose if you're going to help me make inroads with Coleman, that I like it. With a tight nod, Martin turns and moves off through the party. You're just about to get a drink from one of the several bars when Gabe approaches. How are you holding up so far, managing to swim with all these sharks? Doing my best. He looks you up and down appreciatively. That much is obvious. You look so sharp tonight, I think the entire room is watching to see what you do next. Sadie always tells us appearances matter. They absolutely do, and from what I can see, you're giving McGrawburn a good name just being here. Well done, Quinn. You handled Judge Coleman like a pro, by the way. I'll make sure Sadie knows how well you played that. Just trying to do right by the McGrawburn team. Speaking of, looks like some of your associates could use a hand. You fellows gaze and see Bao standing by a wall, scowling at an unfamiliar attorney across the room. Aislinn hovers nervously in a corner by herself. Wonder what's going on there. Whatever it is, it would be best to sort it all out. After all, Sadie and I are watching all of you, and this weekend is about teamwork. Oh, you don't say, I'm shocked. With an enigmatic look and a sly raise of his glass, Gabe disappears into the crowd. You take a deep breath and move over to Bao, who's muttering under his breath. Montag. You okay?
You see that guy over there? The overly expensive suit with the punchable face?
You'd be shocked how little that narrows it down. He points directly at the person in particular because his mother never taught him never to point.
Shit. My nemesis from law school. His father is the Montag and Montag Price.
The same Montag Price that got the small town in Louisiana to pay the oil company for damages when their pipeline burst?
That's the one. Jerk stole a law review article from under me when there was 2 L's and never even acknowledged what he'd done.
You realize you're describing what you did with Roswell, right? You and the Montag guys are basically twins.
But, no, crap, I guess I see your point. For what it's worth, it won't happen again.
It had better not. You don't want me as your enemy, Bao, I promise you. He sighs, shaking his head.
I just wish there was a way to show that jerk up. He makes me so mad I can't think when he's around.
Oh, you could think before? Having Bao with this old rival might impress Gabe and Sadie. Bao... Follow my lead, okay?
But what's the plan?
It's follow my lead for a goddamn reason. Read the room. Networking can cut both ways, and firms like Montag Price always have skeletons in the closet. Approach Montag's group, raise your voice so he notices. Seriously, Bao, it's crazy you're already being considered for that partnership at such a young age.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you never lose a case.
Oh god, is that you?
Oh, Montag, I didn't even notice you. Let me introduce you to my fellow senior associate, Quinn Mitchell. This is Chet Montag.
Montag Price? But, make a big show of lowering your voice, but it's completely audible. Isn't that the firm that's being investigated by the Attorney General in the kickback scheme? What? We cleared that all up ages ago. I'm sorry, you're probably right. I'm sure the rumors about it happening again are just silly gossip. Nearby attorneys start whispering to each other, and you see Montag getting more and more flustered. The thing is, they were more like thank you gifts from our most important clients. I'm sure. Anyway, nice to meet you all. You must be glad you turned down their offer and went with McGrawburn instead, Bao. Still whispering, you lead Bao away from the crowd of attorneys around Montag, all of them gossiping gleefully to one another.
That was brilliant, Quinn. How'd you pull that out of your hat?
You might hear the name Montag Price and think of Chet's punchable face, but I remember the investigation. It was a big deal.
But how'd you know they were taking kickbacks again?
Because they got away with it the first time, and judging from what you said, Chet's not the type to learn a lesson the easy way.
Man, that's brilliant. Thanks, Quinn. I owe you one. I won't forget that this time. I promise.
From across the room, you spot Gabe watching you as Bao moves away. Yeah, whatever. Score another point for Team McGrawburn. And for me. They find Aislinn on the other side of the event, nervously eyeing a cluster of attorneys chatting animately over drinks. Everything okay?
sure. Just trying to get up the guts to introduce myself to Marie Hellsberg. She runs Law Association Monthly Magazine. And don't you contribute tons of case write-ups there? I bet she'll love to say hello. I'm not sure. She's talking to some pretty major players right now. I don't want to interrupt. In that case, let me break the ice. Really? You don't need to do that.
But I want to. Besides, talking up your amazing legal writing to a whole group of attorneys can only help us impress Gabe and Sadie, right?
Good point. Okay, let's do this.
You head over to the group, pausing just outside the circle of attorneys.
Can I help you? Oh,
I hope so. My colleague Aislinn Tanaka was telling me you run Law Association Monthly. I'd be so interested in learning how to submit.
Aislinn Tanaka, but you're our absolute best case writer. I'm so glad you came over. Aislinn's the writer behind that brilliant analysis of Hartford decision last month. Really? I was just saying I assigned that article to my students this term. So insightful. Oh, well, thank you. I've always had a knack for an analytical side of the law. Clearly. And what was your name? If you and Miss Tanaka are colleagues, I'm sure you're no slouch yourself.
Quinn Michaels, Senior Associate at McGraw-Byrne.
McGraw-Byrne, you say? It's an excellent firm. Here, take my card. I'd love to hear from you. Aislinn, would you mind chatting to Judge Wakefield with me? I think he'd be interested in your opinion on the case.
She leads a beaming Aislinn through the crowd. You duck away from the group, unable to repress your smile. That's definitely got some people talking with McGraw-Byrne in the best possible way. Eventually, you find your way over to the bar where Gabe is sitting and watching the party. His demeanor is calm, but his eyes are sharp, observing a dozen conversations at once. I knew you had a way with people, Quinn, but I have to say I'm impressed. You've been working the room like a pro. Yeah, and you've been observing the room like a pro, more like an eagle. I'm glad you noticed. Frankly, it was hard to miss. Were you watching me the whole time? Try to keep my eyes off you, and you're clearly the best-dressed lawyer in the place. But don't worry, I'm not picking partners solely based on who makes the most friends over cocktails, though I can't speak for Sadie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I just spotted an old friend who'll be so thrilled to hear I've been bumped up to senior partner. He slips off a seat and walks away. You turn to order a drink, then hear a familiar voice.
Bourbon, neat. And don't be skippy with the pour. It'll save us both time.
Lena, fancy meeting you here.
Speaking of fancy, damn, you look incredible, Quinn.
Gotta dress to impress, right?
If it leads to you looking like that, I'm more than happy to agree. I was hoping I'd run into you here after our last meeting.
Yes, working with you is definitely a pleasure, Lena.
An entire array of them, I like to think.
Are you enjoying the conference?
As much as I can, though at the point in the evening things start devolving pretty quickly. I was actually thinking I might go back up to my room for a nightcap, among other diversions.
She offers you a coy smile, her shoe gently brushing against your leg.
Maybe you could join me. After all, we both already know we work well together.
Join Lena in a hotel room for a night of steamy, no strings attached bath. Guess what the answer is? No.
Maybe next conference, then. And word to the wise, if you're still here when the karaoke starts, leave.
She grabs her drink and saunters off, leaving you alone at the bar. The following Monday, you and the other associates are hard at work on a new case where a model was accused a gaming company of stealing her image. Okay, by the way, this actually is from Real Press. Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
I'm just saying, if a jury sees her posts and compares them to the character, the similarities are obvious.
Yeah, and all the defense needs to do is a statement saying they actually used a different model who looked similar, and the case is thrown out. Or they used her inspiration with another model. The door opens so suddenly it slammed in the conference room wall. Gabe strides in, his jaw set. Gabe, what is it? Forget about this case. It's being reassigned. All of you are now officially part of the team representing Marcus Sharp. The actor? Why?
I'm sorry, but who now? I haven't had time to get to the movies lately. He's been getting a lot of buzz recently, but his girlfriend, Eliana Velasquez, is a lot better known.
Oh, even I know her. You can't pass a newsstand without seeing her face. I'd imagine it's not only going to become more true now. She's been murdered.
Oh my god. Are you saying...
I am. Marcus Sharp is the prime suspect in the case, and we have to prove he didn't do it.
You're officially taking on a celebrity murder case. Will you be able to stand up to the scrutiny and prove your client's innocent? Keep playing to find out. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down description below. Links on social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. Without further ado, as all of you know, pretty much, like I said, I'm going to pick diamond choices based on whether I want to or not. So, if this upsets you, this is how I play. I'm not going to be like every single other choices YouTuber. Like, if you want to go watch them, go watch them. But this is what makes me unique. I'm not in a competition with everybody else. Literally, I've been doing this since day one. I'm not making, like, clickbait thumbnails or anything else. Like, hell, I used to just post normal thumbnails for, like, 4 years. Give or take. It's a little over-exaggeration. I'd say 2, but moving on. Basically, you know what to do. It's there on the screen. Please do so. It means a lot. It helps to support me. It helps to support this community. It helps to do a lot. When you hit that like button, when you share the videos, when you share the channel, and when you're subscribed, it means a lot. Really, I don't know how many ways I can tell you this. I've tried to just ask at the end of every single video, but I guess in this way I'm pleading with you. It just helps the channel. It helps me. It helps to support me. It keeps the lights on. It keeps the fan going. And it keeps the PC running. So, please do so. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.